morning to all. So today we are going to continue the lesson 16. Okay, plant and animal hormones. Two parts we have completed. Plant hormone and also up to thyroid gland we have completed. Today we are going to study about the remaining glands. So the first one we are going to study about parathyroid gland. Okay, so we are previous class I have given the different glands which are present in our body. First we have completed pituitary gland and the thyroid gland. Next one is parathyroid gland. What is parathyroid gland? It is the parathyroid gland. So it is the gland it is present at the neck region and that is present at the back side of a thyroid gland. Thyroid gland, it is present in this position, posterior side, and it is the parathyroid gland. It is a globular structure. It is present at the anterior side of the thyroid gland. Okay, so that's the position. It is also attached to the thyroid gland at the back side, and it is globular in structure. Okay, so parathyroid gland. Next one, functions of what are the functions of parathyroid gland? The parathyroid hormone, that is parathyroid gland, secretes the hormone called parahormone. It is the that is hormone parathyroid, that is so this is the trachea and these are the parathyroid. Okay, parathyroid, it is the situated at the posterior side of the thyroid gland. It is globular in structure. Okay, then it is secreting the hormone called parahormone. Parahormone is the hormone that is secreted by the parathyroid gland. Then coming to the functions, what are the functions of parathyroid? Okay, parahormone. Function. First, it helps to maintain the calcium metabolism. That is, regulates the calcium and phosphorus metabolism in our body. First function is phosphorus and calcium metabolism. So this is the first function. It regulates the phosphorus and calcium metabolism in our body. Second one, it acts on our kidney, bones and also intestine. Okay, it acts on kidney, bones and intestine to maintain calcium, that is blood calcium level. To maintain the blood calcium level. Okay, calcium level is maintained by this. It acts on the parahormone, acts on the kidney, bone and intestine of our body, and also it will regulate that is maintaining the blood calcium level of our body. These two are the main functions of parahormone. Next, coming to the dysfunction, parathyroid dysfunction. Okay, that is any deficiency of this parahormone causes the dysfunctioning of the body. Okay, so let us see what are the dysfunctioning of a parathyroid hormone. So it is the parahormone, it will become inactive when the thyroid is removed from our body. Mostly it will become in some cases the removal of thyroid gland takes place, and that is known as thyroidectomy. Thyroidectomy. So this is removal of thyroid gland. So along with the thyroid gland, the parathyroid gland also will be removed. So in these cases, it causes some dysfunctioning. That is, first one, it causes a disease called tetany. It causes a disease called tetany. What is tetany? That is a contraction of muscles. Okay, our muscles in our hand, face, feet, etc. will become contraction. Okay, contraction of the muscles of face, feet and legs happens. Okay, that condition is known as tetany. The second one, it causes muscle cramps. Muscle cramps means painful. That is muscle cramp means pain. That is painful. That is limb. Okay, it is pain. Cramps will occur in the what are the deficiency that is caused because of the dysfunctioning of parathyroid. Okay, so parathyroid gland, it becomes dysfunction. Some cases the parathyroid become dysfunction. It will not secrete the hormones, and that in some cases that is thyroidectomy. Thyroidectomy means removal of thyroid glands. Along with the thyroid glands, parathyroid gland also will be removed. So it causes the dysfunction. If there is no parathyroid hormone will not be produced. So it will result in two types of disease, that is known as tetany and muscular cramps. Tetany means contraction of muscles of limb, faces and feet. Okay, this is called tetany. Then second one, muscle cramps, pain in the limb. Okay, these are the two effects, two dysfunctioning, that is two deficiency caused due to the dysfunctioning of para hormone. Next one we are going to study about pancreas. Okay, para hormone. Second, next one is pancreas. Pancreas, it is a that is endocrine gland which is present at the loop of our stomach. Below the stomach, it is a leaf-like structure, yellowish color, and it is a leaf-like structure present at the loop, that is curve of the below the stomach. It consists of a curve, and that position is known as loop. And that region, from that region, the pancreas will be arising. Okay, so consider this is the stomach. The stomach joins with the small intestine at that region. In this curved region, it consists of a leaf-like structure, yellowish leaf-like structure, and this is known as pancreas. Okay, it is present just below the stomach. So it is both exocrine and endocrine. Pancreas is considered as both exocrine and endocrine. So why it is called exocrine means it will produce us the digestive juices for the process of digestion. So it is said to be an exocrine gland. Pancreas is both exocrine and endocrine. Okay. Endocrine. This exocrine part of the pancreas will produce the digestive juice, which helps in the digestion of food material what we are eating. Okay, that is the exocrine function. Next one, endocrine gland. It consists of endocrine function. Endocrine part, it consists of a group of cells known as islets of Langerhans. Okay, Langerhans forms the endocrine part of the pancreas. This islets of Langerhans consists of two types of cells. That is alpha cells and beta cells. There are two cells are present, alpha cells and beta cells. And this function as the endocrine part. Okay, this alpha cell produces an enzyme that is hormone called glucagon, and beta cell produces insulin. So alpha cell secrete glucagon and beta cell secrete insulin. Okay, so this is about the pancreas. Okay, this is about the where it is present and what are the hormones which is secreted by pancreas. So in the pancreas, it is present at the loop of the stomach, just below the stomach. It arises as a small leaf-like structure, yellowish in color, and it consists of leaf-like structure. And this pancreas will have the two functions, that is both exocrine, exocrine acts as an exocrine gland and also an endocrine gland. Exocrine part of the pancreas, it will secrete the digestive juice, which helps in digestion of the food materials what we are eating. The next one, endocrine part, it consists of a special type of cell known as islets of Langerhans. Islets of Langerhans forms the endocrine part of the pancreas. Then it is present in small cells. Okay, it consists of the islets of Langerhans. It consists of two types of cells, that is alpha cells and beta cells. So this alpha cells secrete glucagon, and the beta cells secrete an enzyme called insulin. So this is about the what are the hormones secreted by the pancreas and where it is located. Next, what are the function of this hormones? What are the function? Pancreatic hormones. A balance in insulin and glucagon. If there is a balance between, there should be a balance between insulin and glucagon, then only our body, the sugar level, our body sugar level, blood sugar level will be maintained properly. So there should be a combined reaction. If there is a combined, there is jointly both the glucagon and insulin combines together, and it will regulate the body, that is our blood sugar level will be maintained in a proper manner. So let us see each one, okay, separately. First one, we are going to study about insulin. What is insulin? Insulin function. Okay, functions of insulin. What will be the function? It is the this hormone will convert the glucose, what we are eating, the food, the glucose, sugar which are obtained from our food material, the glucose, it will be converted into glycogen. It will be converted into glycogen and it will be stored in our liver and muscles. So that's the first function. Okay, so first one, function of insulin. It will convert the glucose. The glucose we are obtaining from our food material is converted into glycogen. The glucose is converted into glycogen and it is stored in our muscle and liver. Okay, where it is stored? Muscle and so insulin functions of insulin. Glucose is converted into glycogen and it is stored in liver and muscles. Liver and muscles. Then next one, it will store the glucose is stored in the cells of our body. It helps to store the transport. First one, storing. Okay. Next one, transport glucose to other cells. Okay. It is produced in our body. It is transported to the other cells by means of insulin. Decrease glucose, that is glucose in our body will be decreased. Okay, decreases the so these are the three functions. Decreases glucose level in our body, concentration of glucose in the blood. Okay, decreases the concentration of glucose in blood. So these are the three functions of insulin. So what are the three functions? First one, it will convert. That is the food material which we are eating, it produces the sugar called glucose, and this glucose will be converted into glycogen. It will be converted into glycogen and it will be stored in liver and muscles of our body. The next one, transport glucose to the other cells, which is from where it is produced and it is transported to the other cells of our body. That decreases the glucose level in our blood. So it will decrease the amount of glucose in our blood. So these are the different functions of insulin. Then coming to the functions of glucagon. Glucagon. So what is the function? It will convert the stored glycogen into glycogen will be converted. First it is stored with the help of insulin. We are storing the glycogen in the liver and muscles. When we are in need of glucose, when our body is in need of glucose, the glucagon will act on the glycogen and it will be converted into glucose. It will be converted into glucose and is used up by the body. Then first insulin, it will decrease the blood sugar level, but glycogen, it increases the glucagon, it increases the sugar level, glucose in blood. Okay, so that is the opposite function. It has the opposite function of insulin. Okay, so both this insulin and glucagon will combine together to maintain our blood body sugar level. Okay, then so once again listen, glucagon, what is the function? The glycogen which is stored in our body is, when our body is in need of glucose, it will be, glycogen will be converted into glucose. It is converted into glucose by the help of the hormone called glucagon. Then it increases, when the glucose is sent to our body, what will happen? It will automatically increases the sugar level or glucose level in blood. So these are the two hormones which is produced by the pancreas and also the functions of this hormones. Okay, once again, if you want listen, functions of insulin. What are the functions of insulin? It will, that is glucose which is produced by the food material which is absorbed in the body. Glucose which is absorbed by the body is converted into glycogen. It is converted into glycogen and is stored in the liver and muscles. Then this glucose will be transported to the other cells of the body and also it decreases the blood glucose level. So when if there is no insulin, what is the function? It will control the sugar level of our blood. Okay, so these are the functions of insulin. Glycogen, it is the opposite function of insulin. So what will be the stored glycogen? The stored glycogen which is present in the liver and muscles will be converted into glucose when our body is in need of glucose. Okay, it will be converted and it will be supplied to our body. Then it increases the glucose level in the blood. Okay, glucose or sugar level in the body. So these are the functions of two hormones. Okay, pancreatic hormones. Next, we are going to study about the dysfunction. If there is any dysfunction happens to these hormones, what will to the pancreas? What will happen? Okay, let's see. Insulin deficiency. Insulin deficiency causes, first one, increase in sugar level. Causes increase in sugar level. Sugar level, and that condition is known as hyperglycemia. Sugar level will be increased in our body and that is known as hyperglycemia. Then excess of excretion of glucose in urine. Okay, glucose, excess excretion of glucose in urine. Okay, that is known as glycosuria. Glycosuria. That is excretion of more glucose through urine. That is known as glycosuria. The next one, frequent urination. That is known as polyuria. These are the terms that is given for this condition. Okay, then next one, increased thirst. Polydipsia. The next one, increase in appetite. That is hunger. Okay. Polyphagia. So these are the different deficiency disorders. Deficiency caused because of insulin. Okay, what are they? Increase in sugar level. It increases the sugar level in our blood. Okay, that condition is known as hyperglycemia. The term for this increase in sugar level, it is known as hyper. Hyper means more. Okay, hyper means more glucose level. Should increase in sugar level. Hyperglycemia. That glucose, the excretion of more amount of glucose. That is excretion. Okay, excretion of glucose in urine. Excretion of more glucose through urine. That is known as glycosuria. That term is known as glycosuria. The next one, frequent urination. The person who is affected by this, the insulin deficiency, this causes the disease called diabetes mellitus. Okay, the diabetes mellitus is caused because of the deficiency of insulin, and these are the symptoms of this disease. Okay, that is insulin deficiency. That disease is called diabetes mellitus, and these are the symptoms of that disease. Okay, so excretion of glucose through urine, that is known as glycosuria. Then frequent urination. The person who is having diabetes mellitus, the person used to go for urination frequently. That condition is known as polyuria. Next one, increased thirst. The person will be having more thirst than the normal person. Okay, that condition is known as polydipsia. And the increase in appetite, hungry. Okay, the person will be more hunger. That condition is known as polyphagia. So these are the different deficiency, insulin deficiency disorder. Okay, these are the different symptoms which are exhibited by the diabetes mellitus person. Okay, so once again listen, this I am briefing it. Insulin deficiency. So insulin and glucagon are the two hormones which are secreted by the pancreas. If there is insulin deficiency, what happens? It causes a disease called diabetes mellitus. Okay, it will lead to a disease called diabetes mellitus. And these are the symptoms of this disease. Okay, first one, increase in sugar level in the blood, that is known as hyperglycemia. Then excretion of more blood, that is sugar in the urine, that is known as glycosuria. Then frequent urination. The person will be having the tendency to urinate frequently. Okay, that is known as polyuria. And increased thirst, polydipsia. The person will be having increased thirst, and that condition is known as polydipsia. And increase in appetite, hunger, that is known as polyphagia. So these are the deficiency disorders. Okay, the symptoms of a diabetic patient. Next one, we are going to study about adrenal gland. So we have completed parathyroid. Next one, pancreas, we have completed. Next one is adrenal gland. Adrenal gland. Okay, so where is it present? It is present. Already I have told, it is present just above the kidney. Okay, it is present just above the kidney in the form of a cap-like structure. Okay, so it is also known as suprarenal gland. Suprarenal gland. Okay, suprarenal gland. So since it is present just above the kidney. Okay, so this supraadrenal gland or suprarenal gland, it consists of two parts, that is adrenal cortex and adrenal medulla. Adrenal cortex and adrenal medulla are the two parts of the that is adrenal gland. So first we are going to see about the adrenal cortex. So it is the outermost portion of the adrenal gland. So if you are drawing the adrenal gland, the outer portion is known as adrenal cortex, and the inner portion, the center portion, is known as the adrenal medulla. Okay. So outer portion of the adrenal gland is known as adrenal cortex and the inner portion is known as adrenal medulla. So first we are going to study about the adrenal cortex. Okay, so it is already I told, it is outermost layer. It consists of 3 layers also. Extra 3 layers are present in the adrenal cortex. They are zona glomerulosa, zona fasciculata, and zona reticularis. These are the 3 different layers which is present in the adrenal cortex. Okay, what are they? Zona glomerulosa, zona fasciculata and zona reticularis. So these are the 3 different layers which is composing of adrenal cortex. Then what are the hormones secreted by this adrenal cortex? First one, mineralocorticoid and glucocorticoid, and second one, mineralocorticoid. These are the 2 hormones which is secreted by the adrenal cortex. So the adrenal cortex, it is forming the outermost portion of the adrenal gland, and it consists of 3 layers: zona glomerulosa, zona fasciculata and zona reticularis. Then it produces 2 hormones called glucocorticoid and mineralocorticoid. These are the 2 hormones which are secreted by the that is adrenal cortex. First we can see about the functions. What are the functions of glucocorticoid? It will regulate the cell metabolism of a body. Okay, it regulates the metabolism of our body, and also it is stimulate the formation of glycogen. Okay, glucose from glycogen. It stimulates the formation of glucose from glycogen. It acts as anti-inflammatory and anti-allergic agent. These are the 3 main functions of glucocorticoid. It will help in the metabolism, regulates the cell metabolism. Okay, the next one, glucose. It helps to convert the glucose from formation of glucose from glycogen. It helps to form glucose from, stimulates or it will activate the formation of glucose from glycogen. Then it acts as an anti-inflammatory and anti-allergic. Inflammation means swelling in our body. Okay, if it is glucocorticoid is present in our body, it will act as an anti-inflammatory. That is, it not affect the inflammation does not be will not be affecting our body. Then anti-allergic, against the allergic condition of our body, it will act against it. Okay, so these are the 3 functions of glucocorticoid. Then coming to the mineralocorticoid, let us see that it helps to reabsorb the sodium ions. So it helps to absorb sodium ions. Reabsorption. Okay, see sodium ions reabsorption. The next one, it helps to increase the excretion of potassium. It helps the increase in the excretion of potassium ions. Increase in excretion of potassium. Okay, potassium ions, and also it helps to maintain the electrolyte balance. Electrolyte balance. Liquid balance, fluid balance, and also blood pressure, etc. is maintained by the presence of mineralocorticoid. So once again, mineralocorticoid, it helps to, that is, reabsorption of sodium ions. Okay, it helps in the reabsorption of sodium ions by the kidney. Then increase in the excretion of potassium ions. It will increase as the excretion of potassium ions. Then electrolyte balance. It helps to maintain the electrolyte balance of our body, fluid level in our body, the blood pressure, etc. will be maintained by this glucocorticoid. So this is about the two hormones and their functions. So which is secreted by the adrenal cortex. Once again, adrenal cortex consists of three layers: zona glomerulosa, zona fasciculata, and zona reticularis. Then it produces two hormones, that is glucocorticoid and mineralocorticoid. What is the function? First one, it helps in the metabolism of the cell metabolism. Then glucose, it helps to convert glucose from glycogen. Then anti-inflammatory, it acts as an anti-inflammatory and anti-allergic condition of an organism. The next one, mineralocorticoid, it maintains the sodium ion, that is reabsorption of sodium ions by the kidney tubules takes place. Then increased excretion of potassium ions, it will increase the excretion of potassium ions from our body, and also electrolyte balance in our body, fluid balance, then blood pressure, etc. will be regulated by the help of mineralocorticoid. So this is about the adrenal cortex. Okay, next one, adrenal medulla. It consists of chromaffin cells. Okay, it is made up of, so here it is made up of three types of cells, but here it is made up of chromaffin cells. Okay, chromaffin cells, the medulla is made up of chromaffin cells, and these cells will produce two types of enzymes known as epinephrine and norepinephrine. What are the two? It also produces, like adrenal cortex, it will also produces two hormones known as epinephrine and norepinephrine. Okay, norepinephrine. So the two hormones which are secreted by the adrenal medulla. So these two are also known as stress hormones. Okay, stress hormone, because these are produced when we are in stress condition, or when we are in some tension, when we are under tension, etc. These hormones will be produced in more amount. Okay, so epinephrine, these are also known as stress hormone. Stress hormone or emergency hormone. Okay, emergency hormone. Emergency hormone. The other name of norepinephrine, epinephrine and norepinephrine is also known as emergency hormone, because it is produced during the stress condition. Okay, so it is also known as fight, fright or flight hormone. So this fight, also known as fight, flight or fright hormone. Okay, the other name of these two hormones is, first one, it is known as emergency hormone. So why it is called emergency hormone is, it is produced when you are under stress condition. So it is also known as emergency hormone. Next one is also known as fight, fright or flight hormone. Since it is produced during the emergency, that is when you are getting feared, your anxiety, when you are anger, or when you are afraid of something, these hormones will be produced in more amount. So it is also known as fight, fright, flight or fright hormone. When we are getting excited, or when we are happy, or we are sad, or when we are afraid, fearing of something, when we are fight in a stress condition, it will be produced. So it is also known as fight, flight or fright hormone. So this is about the hormones which is secreted by adrenal medulla. Then coming to the functions of these hormones. What are the functions we can see? First one, epinephrine. Epinephrine, it will get conversion of glycogen. Here also it helps in the conversion of glycogen into glucose. Glycogen to glucose, which is stored in glycogen is stored in the liver and muscle. The insulin which is storing the glycogen. Already I told, insulin will store the glucose in the form of glycogen in the liver and muscles. Okay. This epinephrine will convert the glycogen which is stored in liver and muscles into glucose. It will convert to glucose. That's the first point, first function. Then it increases the heartbeat. Increases heartbeat. The next one, it increases the rate of respiration. But it increases the rate of respiration. Okay, rate of respiration will be increased. Okay, epinephrine. Increase the rate of respiration. How it will increase us? By the dilation of lungs. So, dilation of bronchi and trachea. That is air expansion. That is the air passage. Okay, that is known as bronchi and trachea. It will help in the expansion of the dilation means expansion. Okay, expansion of bronchi and trachea will be increased, and so that the rate of respiration also will be increased. Okay, then next it helps in the dilation of pupil of eye. Dilation of pupil of eye. Then increases the blood flow through skin. Decreases the blood flow in skin. So these are the different functions of epinephrine. First one, it will convert the glycogen to glucose. The glycogen which is stored in liver and muscles will be converted into glucose. The next one increases the heartbeat. When we are in tension or when we are happy, whatever it is, your heartbeat will be increasing, isn't it? So this epinephrine is responsible for the increase in heartbeat. Then increase the rate of respiration. It will increases the rate of respiration, that is by the dilation of bronchi and trachea. Bronchi and trachea are the windpipe. That is the passage of air. Okay, that's a passage through which air is passed. So by the expansion of this bronchi and trachea, what will happen? The rate of respiration will be increased. The dilation of pupil of eye. Our dilation, the expansion or the, so that is eyes will be getting expanded when you when you are in tension or something. What happens? Your eyes or etc. will get dilated. Okay, that is also caused by the epinephrine. The next one decreases the blood flow in skin. It will decrease the flow of blood to the skin. So these are the functions of epinephrine. Norepinephrine is also similar, having the similar function. Both epinephrine and norepinephrine are having the similar functions. Okay. The next one we are going to study about the reproductive gland, that is gonads. So we have completed adrenal glands. Okay. Next we are going to study about the reproductive gland. That is gonads. Okay. So this gonads, these are the male and female organisms have the gonads in their body. The female consists of ovaries and the male consists of testes. Okay, what are the two gonads? In male it is said to be the reproductive part of our body is known as reproductive gland or gonads, and the male consists of the reproductive part gland known as testes, and the female consists of the reproductive part known as ovaries. So these two both together forms the gonads. Okay, male is testes, female it is ovary. Okay, so these are the two gonads which is present in our body. Then next we are going to study about the hormones which are secreted by testes and ovaries. Okay. So testes, I already told that it is a reproductive part of the male. Okay, this is the reproductive part of the male. It consists of that is seminiferous tubules, Sertoli cells, and Leydig cells. That is consists of three types of cells: seminiferous tubules, Sertoli cells, and Leydig cells. Leydig cells are the three cells which are involved in the formation of that is hormones, that is reproductive hormones. So male part is known as the testis. It helps in the formation of sperm, and it consists of three types of cells, that is known as seminiferous tubules, Sertoli cells, and Leydig cells. The Leydig cells are responsible for the production of male hormone, that is known as testosterone. Okay, the Leydig cells which is present in the testis is responsible for the production of hormone, male hormone known as testosterone. So let us see the functions of testosterone. It helps in spermatogenesis. What is the first one? It helps in spermatogenesis. The process, the formation of sperm in the testis is known as the process of formation of sperm is known as spermatogenesis. Okay. So the testosterone first function helps in spermatogenesis. Second function, it helps in protein synthesis. Okay, it helps in protein synthesis. And finally, helps in the development of secondary sexual characters. Secondary sexual characters in man. Okay, in a male. That is appearance of, that is hard voice, formation of that is growing of hairs in the body. The sound will become more deeper. So these are all the secondary sexual characters which is occurring due to the formation of testosterone. So let us see once again. There is gonads, reproductive gland. It is also known as gonads. There are the male, it is known as testis, and female, it is known as ovary. Male, the testis, it consists of three parts, that is seminiferous tubules, Sertoli cells, and Leydig cells, comprises of the testis. So among that, Leydig cells is responsible for the production of male hormone known as testosterone. Hormone which is present in the male are known as testosterone. What are the functions? We have studied about the function. It helps in spermatogenesis. It is involved in the formation of sperm. Okay, the formation of sperm is the process of formation of sperm is known as spermatogenesis. Second one, it helps in protein synthesis. It helps in protein synthesis. The next one, secondary sexual characters appears in the male with the help of this testosterone. So these are the different functions of testosterone. Next one, we are going to study about the female gonad, that is ovary. Female one is known as ovary. So this ovary, female gonads, it is located in the pelvic cavity. Okay, it is present in the pelvic cavity. It produces two hormones known as estrogen and progesterone. What are the two hormones secreted? Estrogen and progesterone are the two hormones which are secreted by the estrogen and progesterone are the two hormones secreted by the ovary. Okay. So the estrogen, what is estrogen? First we are going to see about the estrogen. So estrogen is produced by the Graafian follicles. Okay. Estrogen is produced by the Graafian follicles. And progesterone is produced by the corpus luteum. So ovary is the female reproductive part and is responsible for the production of ovum. It is present at the pelvic region. Of our body. Then it produces two hormones known as estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen, it is produced by the Graafian follicles, and progesterone is produced by the corpus luteum is produced by the corpus luteum. So first one we are going to study about the functions of estrogen. First one, estrogen. Estrogen, it is helps in oogenesis, that is formation of, first one we have studied spermatogenesis, sperm formation. Next one, oogenesis, that is meaning the formation of ovum. Okay, it helps in the production of ovum. Then it initiates the process. Next one, it brings about changes occurring during puberty. During the time of puberty, changes will occur in our body. Okay, changes in puberty, changes during the puberty. Okay, produces the changes during puberty, oogenesis. The next one, it stimulates the maturation of ovarian follicles. Ovarian follicles will mature. Okay, maturation of ovarian follicles. And finally, it helps in the formation of secondary sexual characters. Secondary sexual characters in female. Okay. It means the voice becomes sweeter, then high pitch voice. Okay, high pitch voice, breast development, etc. happens during the secondary sexual characters. Okay, so these are the functions of estrogen. First, two hormones are produced by this ovary, estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen, the first function, it helps in initiate the process of oogenesis, formation of ovum. The second one, changes during, it causes some changes during puberty, during the time of maturity of a female girl. That stage is known as puberty. The maturation stage of a girl is known as, that is, puberty means the stage at which a girl attains the reproductive character. Okay, reproductive capacity will occur in that child. Okay, that stage is known as puberty. Okay, changes during the puberty is caused due to the presence of estrogen. Then maturation of ovarian follicles also takes place with the help of estrogen. Then next one, secondary sexual characters will appear on the child. Okay, with the presence of estrogen, that is breast development and also high pitched voice, etc. appear on the child. Okay. The next one, progesterone. Coming to the progesterone, it is responsible for premenstrual changes. Okay, first function, it is produced by the corpus luteum. It is responsible for the premenstrual changes. Premenstrual, before the menstrual cycle start in a person, some changes will occur in the body. That is caused because of the presence of progesterone. Then it prepares the ovary, that is ovary for the implantation of embryo. It prepares the uterus or ovary for the implantation of embryo. Implantation of embryo. It regulates the pregnancy. And also last point, it helps in the formation of placenta. Okay, it helps in the formation of placenta during the time of pregnancy. So these are the different functions of progesterone. First one, it helps to it causes the changes during the premenstrual stage of an organism. Okay, premenstrual stage, it causes some changes, and this is done by the presence of hormone called progesterone. Then it helps the ovary for the implantation of embryo. It will prepares the uterus. Okay, it will prepare the uterus for the implantation of embryo. Then it helps in pregnancy and also formation of placenta. Then finally, last one, thymus gland. Thymus gland. Last one, it is present in the thymus gland. It is present in the chest region. Chest region, it is mostly concerned with immunity. Okay, it is mostly concerned with immunity, and also it helps in the formation of lymphocytes. These are the two functions of thymus gland. So it is present in the chest region. It is a cuboidal structure. It is present in the chest region. And what are the function? It helps in increasing our immune system and also helps in the production of lymphocytes. So we have completed our 16th lesson. Okay, thank you all.